Okay, how are you? I've got a nice video title today. What Nelson Chamisa needs to do in order to win. What Nelson Chamisa needs to do in order to win next year's 2023 election. Just an advice. Last week there was elections in Zimbabwe, by-elections, and Triple C didn't do well in some rural areas, in some wards. ZANU-PF won resoundingly, even in Matebeleland, where people thought that maybe Triple C would have gained some inroads. It shows there that Nelson Chamisa's Triple C lacks ability to take the rural vote, and it's clear that Chamisa's idea of not forming structures is coming to bite him. I do understand that the reason why he doesn't want structures is because he thinks that there will be infiltration in his party and then ZANU-PF will try to destroy him, blah blah blah. But I don't think that those fears are founded at this time when the elections are just close by, and I don't think that Chamisa could lose. What you call it? We would lose that at Congress, at any Triple C Congress. So what Triple C lacks is grassroots. What I mean by grassroots is that they must have structures in wards that are strong, that are legitimate, that are able to rally behind not only the president but behind the message of the Triple C. What is the messaging of the Triple C? You do realize, Mr. Chamisa, I'm giving you free advice, that your Triple C doesn't have much of a message, except that you want to remove ZANU-PF, want to remove ED Mnangagwa. That's not a formidable campaign strategy. That strategy doesn't really resonate well with the rural folks who see their ZANU-PF councillors or MPs doing well for them in the past, decades or so. So coming to say that you want to remove ZANU-PF, you might find audience with people in the urban areas, but that's not enough to win a general election. So the purpose of this video is to advise Chamisa on how to win next year. So the Triple C lacks this messaging. You need to message your people and tell them what is it that you are going to do. Okay, ZANU-PF must go, and then what? What are you gonna do when ZANU-PF leaves? Stop telling us about spaghetti roads and bullet trains. That's not enough. Have something more concrete. Have a concrete economic plan that is out there, okay, that we can analyze. But I do know that not everybody is looking at those things. Most of the voters are looking at the taglines and what problems are they facing. All right, there are some people in some councils that are facing problems of service delivery, and they need that messaging to be directed at them. There's places like Matebeleland that are facing marginalization. They need to see a clear direction from their future leader that you are concerned about the marginalization of Matebeleland, and what plan do you have to bring Matebeleland back into play in the national domain? Then we can talk about something. In the rural areas, talk about farming. How can you improve the farming policy of ZANU-PF? How can you improve the lives of the people there? How are you going to industrialize the country? How are you going to build industries and growth points? What are you going to do with the mining industry? Also stands there. And how are you going to use it to create jobs and spare the economy? Region by region, your people must have a regional message. Not just a national message, but a regional message that resonates with the voters in that particular region. Sometimes it's not a region, but just a constituency or just a ward. Triple C lacks that because you are running on this on this idea that Nelson Chamisa has got national support, or at least half of the national support, and then you think that that's all that is needed. Therefore, we're just gonna rest on the fact that people do not like ZANU-PF. Do you know that Emmerson Mnangagwa actually has got a fairly good chance of winning the election? Do you know why? Because being in government, he has got the opportunity right now to change the economy. He's got the opportunity to manipulate certain economic dynamics that may work to his favor and may make people think like, anyway, he's not so bad. He's building roads. He's building clinics in the what do you call it? Emakaya. Those devolution funds. People were given devolution funds, and districts were building clinics. People see that, and they see it as an Emmerson Mnangagwa win. You see, so the Triple C, if they really are a formidable force, they could have used that and said, okay, we are the ones who push ZANU-PF for devolution funds, and because these funds are out, and then there is development, it's Triple C, right on that. But I do not see Triple C having any issues. They're not focusing on the issues. They're focusing on hatred. Okay, we hate ZANU-PF, they are corrupt. I mean, who isn't corrupt in Zimbabwe? Come on. You also gonna be corrupt as well. But anyway, that's not the point. And a critical thing that Nelson Chamisa needs to do, which is one of the reasons why I started this video, is that Chamisa focuses mainly only on the people. That is good, achieved it, it's got a good support base. However, he did not focus on and never concentrated on the people who actually make the difference, who will actually give him the power. The people who will not give you the power, the people who just support you and they vote for you. But the power is with the military. Alright. The power is in the hands of the police and the CIOs. The power is in the hands of ZANU-PF. Nelson Chamisa should negotiate with all of these stakeholders. And I do suspect heavily, and I think I'm right, that he already has a negotiation deal with them, but the deal is not favorable for Chamisa or the people of Zimbabwe, because the deal, according to my own analysis, is for Nelson Chamisa to stay in opposition and to perpetuity, to just keep the hopes of Zimbabweans high, but knowing very well that he will only deliver them an election loss, giving victory to ZANU-PF via back door, pretending that he is fighting ZANU-PF when he actually is not. Now that's my assessment. But if I was Nelson Chamisa, I would tear up that agreement. Okay, and say, no, you know what? Now I can take my chances and go for the kill and do the real thing and become the leader of Zimbabwe, and not accept this mincemeat, this peanuts that the ZANU-PF regime is offering me. Alright. So, Nelson Chamisa is a brilliant political operative that he is. We should now look at the temperature of Zimbabwe. That maybe 12 years ago, when Robert Mugabe robbed him in and made him take over from Tsvangirai and keep the voters at ransom, the voters who genuinely do not want ZANU-PF are kept at ransom with the Triple C. So now, he needs to see that now really, even within ZANU-PF, there is a dissatisfaction with the current leadership at the helm of ZANU-PF. So the advice to Chamisa will be to take advantage of that and say, to hell with making me a pretend opposition. I'm going to be a real opposition. Join forces with the people in ZANU-PF, the dissatisfied people in ZANU-PF, the dissatisfied people in the police, in the military, and in the CIOs, because those are the people that have got the power. Those are the people that can make the move. Even the people that rig elections, those are the ones that must protect the election so that it's not rigged against you, because they don't want to rig for the incumbent. Do you understand? That's why Chamisa fails to take his political career to the actual palace where there is real power. Every power in every country lies in the military, not in the ballot box. The ballot box is an expression of the people, and the ballot box is respected at the mercy of the military. If the military is not merciful enough, the ballot box is not recognized. I mean, Zimbabweans don't know that better than anybody else. We have had that experience. Every country is ruled by the military. Don't be lied to. Every country is ruled by the military. This whole thing that people say that, oh, we want a civilian government and the military must stay out of politics, it's just a pipe dream. It's actually propaganda that is meant to stabilize the society, so that the society may think that they are ruling. But in reality, every government is ruling under the auspices of their military. So the military staying in the barracks doesn't mean that they have got no political influence. It's just that they are staying in the background so that they do not show their ugly face. Then we have the pretty faces of the politicians in front. But in failed states, the military, they fail to stay at the back. They take over political power and become the leaders. But because they are not trained to love people, to handle people fairly and nicely, they usually use violence and stuff like that, and then they kill their own people in their own countries. That's a failed state. There's a military that has failed. You can see that in other countries like South Sudan, the Upper Sudan, and the whole Sahel region, where there's always military coups and infighting, insurgents, all that stuff. It's a signal that the ruling military of that nation is failing to hold its center. Thank God the Zimbabwean military has been well behaved for now, that we don't have any insurgents in Zimbabwe, but I wouldn't count that out if the situation carries on like this. That is why I'm saying that it's important for Nelson Chamisa to stop being a pretend opposition and actually become a real one and grow some balls. So you will see now that if Chamisa does that, then he has got a fair chance of winning the election. Because if he doesn't do that, at the moment, the powers that be favor the current status quo. And you know that it doesn't really matter who votes for who votes how many people, whatever. You know what the result is going to be. I don't have to spell that out to you. So, what your advocate needs to be doing right now is to take that advice. And another important thing he must do is to make me his chief political and economic advisor. I mean, that one you will win. If you make me your advisor, you're not going to lose. We'll destroy ZANU-PF. But if you don't, I will advise ZANU-PF. And they will have you for lunch, dinner, and breakfast. We actually need to have this, what they call a national consensus isn't really a national consensus. It's a consensus within the ruling elite.
What kind of work keep you?
No, and just the consensus is really between the ruling elite. When they come to a Damascus moment and realize that their divisions are tearing the country apart, and it's also going to eventually tear them apart. When they decide that, when they realize that the strategy of divide and rule, the strategy of saying that holding the country at ransom, taking all the resources to the few that are elite and powerful, and closing the door for everyone in the country. That strategy doesn't work. It has been proven throughout history that it doesn't work. It leads to revolutions, that leads to their death, actual death, when people revolt in the streets and they look for the people that are oppressing them. And you know what happened in Libya? You know what happened in Libya? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So a national healing has to come when the actual Zimbabwe National Army itself and the elite, because the elite, some of them are not in the army, they're not in the CIO, they're not police, they're actually business people, they are rich Zimbabweans. Some of them are even foreigners, rich multinationals, billionaires who have got a stake in the country. the country is going to succeed when they reach a consensus that we are now going to open up the country or the economy to everyone so that they can be successful in Zimbabwe. Don't know, it's not really about the people. The people can just pressurize them. The people can go to the streets and give them pressure until they come to a point where the pressure causes pain to them. You understand? So, but then that doesn't necessarily need to come to that level, because other forces at play within the elite themselves, they may begin to fight each other and take each other out in a nasty and ugly way, such that even the Zimbabwean elite will be taken over by a foreign elite. There's another aspect there of international power politics, that every nation has got this elite, right? I said it's the military, but also there's some other elites from other countries that can take over other elites. That's what they call colonization. It's very easy to be colonized these days. Do not think that colonization ended a long time ago. There's a lot of countries that are currently going through a recolonization. You understand? Sorry. So do not be foolish to think that we are free. We cannot be colonized anymore. You can be colonized if the center is not holding. If the elite is not wise enough to understand their role in society in keeping the general public fairly satisfied. There's a certain level of satisfaction that has to be reached in the general public that will enable the elite and the ruling class to remain in power and to sustain their wealth accumulation or whatever it is that they're doing. But if they disregard the public, disregard the economy, something is going to give at the end. Understand? So Nelson Chamisa is part of that elite. He is. But then his role as I analyze it, is to be a pretend opposition. Alright. So that ZANU-PF can be in power and to perpetuate. But that strategy, if I were to advise ZANU-PF, that strategy of wanting to be in power to perpetuate is actually a wrong strategy. It will come biting them. They must actually relinquish power. The good advice that ZANU-PF must take is to relinquish power itself. But the relinquishing power is all right, Daniel. Yeah. Sure.
Hey, you so tall. I do very novella. Why watching?
No, can't.
Don't you know I don't listen to
Sure. So, and I mean, relinquishing power, it does not really mean getting out of power fully. There's something called proxies. Okay, in case you have forgotten, or ZANU-PF. There's something called process. What ZANU-PF needs to do is to appear like they're relinquishing power, to appear like they're giving power to Nelson Chamisa, to appear like the elections are going to be free and fair. Chamisa wins, he becomes president. But then, in that climate, Chamisa should have agreed with ZANU-PF in the first place that, okay, this is that deal. This is when I take over, this is what is going to happen. Okay, I will not prosecute people in ZANU-PF. I'll ask them to bring the money back to invest in the country, and then we're going to grow a country together. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who is president, whether it's Chamisa or ET. Do you realize that? Come to think of it. Because there's only one president. What matters is what is the impact of that one president to everybody else around him and the whole country. But the problem is with factionalism, that Mnangagwa would have his own small entourage or small faction of 30 or 40 people. Chamisa also will have his own 30 or 40 people. And all those people, they all want to fight each other. Instead of trying to find a consensus on how they can actually build the country together or share within the economy together. Come up with rules, a rules-based society, so that we can win as a country, and it's a win-win situation. You understand? Otherwise, it doesn't matter who is in power, we will fight and to perpetuate. When we fight, we mustn't fight the way that we do in Zimbabwe, where the economy suffers. We must fight in business. You know, when businesses compete, those who have got better ideas win, those who don't have better ideas lose. You understand? But the way that we are fighting, killing each other, using politics in an uncivilized manner. Zimbabweans pride themselves on being educated. I don't understand what education it is that makes people to be so uncivilized. Can you see that our enemies is other countries, other elites from other countries want us to fight. They want our elite to fight, our political leaders, our business leaders to fight and to perpetuate so that the country does not develop. Understand? So that we do not, so that they will keep exerting their power and force on us and actually getting our resources sent on the dollar. But if we to stand together and be strong, we can really come up with something. If we have to get rid of selfishness and do not horror. Do you understand? We will talk later now. I need to go to my daily slavery commitment.